Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dive into the nitty-gritty of company reports and uncover the real story behind the numbers. Today we are going to decode Acro Biomedical Koshi Limited, a company that's certainly not afraid to keep things interesting. So Acro Biomedical Limited is back with its annual report, and let me tell you, this one is a real page turner, but not in the way you might expect. They haven't generated any revenue in 2023, not a single dollar. To put that in perspective, that's like a restaurant not selling any food for a whole year yet still paying rent. This is their big annual update after a year of no sales. We are all ears to see what's happening. First off, let's talk about their liquidity. As of December 31, 2023, they had a whopping $376. That's less than a lot of us spend on groceries in a month. And fended to win groceries in a month. They haven't generated any revenue in 2023 at all. And looking at 2022, their total revenue was just $658,500. To put that into context, a small local business might pull in that much revenue in a few months. For Acro Biomedical, it was their entire year, and frankly, a good chunk of that has now been written off as uncollectible. Speaking of uncollectible, they had accounts receivable of $630 at $1,200 at the end of 2022. By the end of 2023, they've written off $480,000 of that amount. That means they expected to collect almost $500,000 and just couldn't. This has led to a provision for doubtful accounts of $480,000, impacting their already dire financial situation. Now let's look at how they've been spending their money, or maybe how they used to be spending. A huge chunk of their expenses, $8.1 million in 2023 and 15-23 and 15.7 million overs in 2022, is related to stock-based compensation for consultants. This was for a proposed cordyceps infused chicken feed product that apparently never took flight. Essentially, they gave away a lot of stock, then expensed its value over time. The good news is this deferred stock compensation is now fully amortized, meaning it's done and dusted. The bad news is the product development that led to these expenses didn't actually result in a marketable product. And this is where things get serious. Their financial statements include a going concern paragraph. What this essentially means is that the auditors have serious doubts about whether the company can continue operating. With minimal cash, no revenue, and significant past losses, it's a fair assessment. They are relying heavily on advances from a minority stockholder and the CEO to keep the lights on. Trying to raise money for this company is also a huge challenge. Their stock is on the OTC expert market. This isn't exactly where investors go for excitement. It means no market makers are quoting prices, and it's not easily accessible to the public. This lack of liquidity and transparency makes it incredibly difficult to get the funding they need. Let's talk leadership. Acro Biomedical has one director who also serves as CEO, CFO, President, and Secretary, Pao Chi-Chu. While he has extensive experience in the cordyceps industry, it means there's no independent oversight. This lack of checks and balances can create conflicts of interest and make it harder for the company to navigate complex financial and operational decisions. For the year ended December 31, 2023, they reported a net loss of over $8.8 million on zero revenue. Compare that to 22, where they had revenue of only 652, where they had revenue of only 650, rather bleak picture of the company's financial performance. Even the auditors are sounding the alarm bells. Their report on the 2023 financials includes a going concern paragraph raising substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue operations. They mention limited cash operating losses and the lack of revenue as key concerns. Given their current operational status, it's almost comical that they haven't even bothered with cybersecurity. It's like putting a tiny lock on a door that's already wide open. It shows a complete lack of active business or future planning in that area. So what's the story here? Acro Biomedical is a company that invested heavily in developing a cordyceps-based product that never materialized. They have virtually no cash, no revenue, and substantial past losses accumulated over years. Their leadership is a one-person show, and their stock is relegated to an obscure market, making any hope of raising capital a tough battle. The core problem seems to be a fundamental business failure to produce a marketable product and generate revenue. The lack of sales and current cash reserves puts them in a precarious position. While they talk about future plans and potential product development, the reality is they are struggling to even maintain basic operations. The reliance on advances from a minority stockholder and the CEO is a temporary fix at best. Looking at their balance sheet, it confirms the dire situation. Their total stockholders' deficit equity is negative 257,014. This means that if you were to liquidate all their assets, you still wouldn't have enough to cover their liabilities, leaving nothing for the shareholders. They do have some lease commitments for a storage facility in Hong Kong. While the amounts aren't massive, they represent an ongoing expense that they have to service even without any incoming revenue. Ultimately, Acro Biomedical Corp Limited appears to be a business that has failed to find a viable market or product. Their past investments in product development haven't paid off, and they are in a severe financial bind without a significant change in strategy, a new product that actually sells, or a substantial influx of capital, which seems unlikely given their current market standing. It's hard to envision a path to profitability or even continued operation. Alright, that's our deep dive into Acro Biomedical Corp Limited's latest filing. What's your take on where this company is headed in the future? Do you see any glimmer of hope, or is it a story we've seen too many times before? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps us out, and don't forget to subscribe for more corporate deep dives like this. We also have a Discord community linked in the description if you want to chat with us directly and get more insights. Thanks for watching everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.